Hey guys, this is Hein and welcome to the first episode of the sub 10 second 3x3 challenge. So let's get started. So if you haven't watched my sub 1 minute Mega Moves challenge, the format is going to be similar but not quite. Because 3x3 is only 12 seconds while a Mega Mix is a minute, I can actually reconstruct the solves. So I'll explain everything in the description, but I'll also explain it in this video, but only this video. In part 2 I won't explain it. So how the format's going to work is there's going to be 3 parts. Part 1 will be the part where I say what I did in the week to improve. Part 2 will be me reconstructing my 3 best solves, and part 3 will be me telling what I will do next to improve whichever step. So let's get started with the first solve. So let's start with part 1, what I've worked on. I haven't done really that much this week because of school and studying and stuff. So this week I didn't really do anything except practice. I didn't learn anything new, I just practiced and did some slow solves. But I mean, I'm going to practice way more in the future, but here are my results. So here was the scramble. So what I first saw is that if I put orange here and blue at the back here, then I can just take green and put it here and green here. So that's what I did. So I took blue to the back, did a B2, then I did this, and then just realign. So by looking at the solve, I think that's about the best way I could have done it, because it paired this piece and this piece, so there's not much better that you could do with that. So after I did that, I first saw this pair, which you can just take out and insert like that. And then I didn't see this pair instantly, so instead of doing this, I did the same thing and just did a U prime and inserted it. And obviously next we already have this pair, which can be easily paired like that. And then we had this one, where I just did a sledge and just inserted it like that. Now looking at it back, I think it would have been better to do an L move here and insert it there, because that would have put this pair in a nice position. So I could have done an L, inserted that, and then I could just do this. And then the last pair would have been the same, and then I would have gotten an easier O-L in my opinion. But yeah, instead of doing an L U2, I did a U prime and then an insert. But anyway, so with the real solve, I got this O-L case, which can be extruded quickly. And then I think I did a couple of U moves because I didn't see this bar and this bar. But I mean, it's just a Y perm and that. So I just looked at the previous one, I would have gotten a GA perm. So obviously the Y perm is much faster than the GA perm. So it was a better solve. Of my 3 best solves, I think this one was the most efficient. The reason it wasn't sub 10 is because I did a lot of U primes and my look at it wasn't that great. So here's solve 2, and here's a very easy cross, because I know this one needs to go 1 right, and this one needs to go 2 right. So what I did was I did a D move here, insert the orange, and then just insert the other 2 like this. So that was a really easy cross, but I'm going to show you guys how I would have done it rapidly. In my opinion, the yellow cross would have been better, because we can insert this one, then both 2 moves away. Then we can do this. But what I could have done here is, I could have broken them up like that, insert it, and then realign. And then what I could have done is I could have just inserted the edge piece to make an X cross. So that was a bit more advanced. I couldn't see that during the inspection, but that obviously would have been better because I made an X cross, and it was basically the same amount of moves. For the first pair, I obviously saw this one. So instead of, I don't know why I did this, but I did a U prime because I could have just done that and paired it up there. But I did a rotation, don't know why. I did this move, I rotated it again, and then inserted it. And next, obviously, I saw this one, which I can easily pair, but I could have paired like this, but I paired it like this. Don't know why, but I think it's the pressure because I knew it was going to be a good solve. Then it's this one, which is just a triple sexy move. And then here again I messed up. I did like a U prime a lot instead of just doing it again. And then it was just an easy OLL and then a G prime. So yeah, now I'm gonna show how I would have solved it. I would have also started with this pair because I wanted to do the keyhole, but I knew pairing this, I know pairing this piece won't affect this edge. So I would have done this and this. Rotate, did a D move, insert that piece and keyhole. So that would have been a much better solution, but for some reason I can't see keyholes when I'm in mid-solve. I can predict it, but if I don't predict it, I won't see it. So then I would have done this pair, and then lastly I would have done this pair. And then I would have gotten an easy case, and then the best PLL, the JB perm. So then it would have probably been a sub 10 if I saw that keyhole. But otherwise I'm still happy with the solve. A lot of U and U prime moves and worthless rotations, but I mean it's still a decent solve for me. So on to the last solve, and this was my best solve. And how I did it, I saw this one needs to go 2 left or right, this one needs to go 1 clockwise. So what I did was, I inserted this one like that, inserted this one, and then inserted the blue to align them like that. So the only way I would have done differently was to set up the blue piece. So what I've done is, again, I would do a D prime like I did, then this move, but then I'll do this move just to set them up. So when I insert the green, I can just insert the blue. So that's just a small difference. It wouldn't have made that much of a difference, but it would have made a small difference. So this was my starting position for F2L, and obviously I saw this pair, but for some reason I didn't know to go here. So I rotated, did a U prime, and then I saw it and then inserted it. And then next I rotated, set them up like this and paired them. Now here, obviously I should have done this case. It's way easier to just pair them like that, but I didn't see it, so I saw this pair which I can pair like this. And lastly, luckily this one was already set up. I could just do a really easy OLL and then just the JA perm. So yeah, that was really, actually it should have been way better, but luckily my OLL and PLL made up for it. My OLL and PLL execution was very fast, but my FTL wasn't great. Now I'm gonna show how I should have done it. What I would have done here is I would have rotated like this instead of this, because inserting like this is slower than inserting like that. So after I've inserted that, I would have saw this pair, which can easily be inserted like this. Then I would have saw this pair could also be easily paired up, but I would have done this pair first, like that. And then lastly, I can see that this one can be paired like that. Insert it, then I have this OLL, and then I have just an easy U pair. So I think if I would have done that, it might have been sub 10, but I mean the PLL execution for me and the initial solve was actually quite good. So I doubt it would have been sub 10, but I'm very happy with that solve. Of all 3 the solves, that was my best one by far. So I have plenty of plans that I want to do to improve, like for instance relearning some PLLs, because my G perms are not the greatest G perms, and my F and V perm as well. And also I'm gonna practice look ahead. I have to learn way more F2 algorithms, but for this week my goal will be to do look ahead. So first of all, I'm gonna practice look ahead by doing the cross without looking, and then trying to do first pair, because I can't always do first pair, and I want it to be consistent to always do first pair. So after I've done that, the next week I'll probably do either learning F2L algs or learning a new PLL algs. Probably the F2L, because F2L will make a bigger difference, but we'll see as it goes. I'm not promising anything, but that's how it's gonna look like. So for this week, until the next episode, I'm gonna practice look ahead and first pair. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoy this format way more than the Megaminx one, because the Megaminx one was only like a 5 videos of my best solve and there weren't any commentary. But now there is, and I really like this format because it's only 12 seconds a solve, or 11 seconds. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to watch next week's episode, and peace.